Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year period and enjoyed the holidays. We had a very quiet one actually, with my grandson, my son and the rest of my family, which was lovely because I don't get to see my grandson very often, so that was lovely. And here we are, 2024, so I thought I would come back and say hello with a new video. Today I thought I'd show you some really simple links that you can use for a lot of different jewellery projects. The little figure of 8 or eternity links, as you can see here, you can use those with your jewellery pieces. I've used that one here on this particular necklace, as you can see in the middle there. Beautiful. And again, I've used the same link on this spiral bead piece that I've made, and as you can see, makes such a gorgeous simple chain actually, if you get the measurements and everything correct, and I'll show you how to make those. Again, there you go. Okay, so we'll go through how to make those, and I'll also show you how to make these lovely links here, like hammered circular links with, you can either use them with the beads, or as I've got here, without the beads, and you can use them really effectively in bracelets and simple necklaces and things like that. Okay, so just for today, just to ease us back into things, I'll go through these two lovely, simple to make chains, which, like I say, you can use for all sorts of different projects. Okay, so I'll clear the table away and we'll go through the materials that you're going to need, which are pretty basic, so you should be able to manage these as a beginner. See you in a few seconds. Right, so as you can see, there's various different sizes of these figure 8 links that you can make. I like to use them in all sorts of different projects, for my necklaces and for bracelets. So as you can see here, there's different size links there. Okay, so obviously these are the larger ones that you can use. Well, you can use them for anything really. The smaller ones I've used in between these beaded links, and again, various different sizes for chains. Okay, so let's have a look at what we need. So obviously, first of all, you're going to need some wire. So for my links, I like to use 1mm bare copper wire, or any wire of your choosing, as long as it's not dead soft. Okay, you can hammer some hardness into your wire, but my suggestion is that you get a decent strength, half hard bare copper, or any of your jewellery wires really, as long as it's not too soft. So you're going to need some chain nose pliers, 2 pairs for obvious reasons. I always like to have 2 pairs on hand, should you need a smaller pair or a larger pair. Bail making pliers, or indeed round nose pliers. For this particular link, I prefer to use the 6-step bail making plier, mainly because the loops are always going to be a consistent size. So if you don't have a pair of these, it's a wise idea to get, invest in. They're not very much money. I think I paid about £8, 8 British pounds for these. What's that, about $12, something like that. You're going to need, obviously, some flush cutters for cutting your wire. You're going to need a ruler, obviously just to measure your lengths. In the description, I'll put the inch and the centimetre lengths that I use in mine. And what else are we going to need? Oh yes, a basic hammering bench block, if you choose to hammer gently your figure of 8 links, and a basic chasing hammer. Okay, so I think that is all we need at this particular stage. Okay, so let's get going. So we'll move a lot of this out of the way. And the first thing we need to do is to measure our lengths. Okay, so for the very small links that I've used on this particular one here, are very, very small, perfect for chain. Each link takes 2 centimeters of your copper wire, okay? So you take your 1 millimeter. You can use obviously higher gauge, larger gauge, but that will alter slightly the lengths that you're going to need to do each link. So as you're experimenting, you can work that out for yourself, no problem. Okay, so here we go. So measure a 2 centimeter length of your wire, okay? That's it, dead simple. Okay, so I know, because I've experimented, that for the 1 millimeter wire in the 2 centimeter lengths, I get these tiny little links here with the smallest step on my bell making plier. Okay, so all you need to do is hold the wire just right at the very, very tip of the pliers there, so that when you run your finger over, you can't feel it. Okay, and just rotate your wrist round and make a P shape like so. You see that? Okay, so to make the other part of the figure of 8 or the eternity link, you need to do it in the opposite direction to this P. Okay, so if we did that one way, we have to do that the other way. Okay, so have that P loop facing you, pop the wire in and again so that you can't feel it, and again rotate your wire and your wrist round. Ooh, pull it off if you can. Ooh, until you have this. Okay, so as you can see, that's slightly bent, which happens with these smaller ones. So all you need to do is just bring in your chain nose, and there's your first link. Okay, how sweet is that? Really, really simple to do. Okay, so go ahead and make however many of these you need, as you can see. Okay, now on this particular one, I haven't hammered them, but you can now just give it a very light tap should you require, just to make it a bit more sturdy. Okay, so go ahead and make a few of these, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to link them together. Okay. Okay, so hopefully now you've made a few of these little links. I've just made 4 here just for demonstration purposes. So all you need to do basically is to open each one of these links, okay, but instead of outwards, you want to open it like a gate towards you. Okay, if you open it outwards, like with jump rings and things like that, you can distort the shape of the hoop or the jump ring, etc. Okay, so make sure you always open it towards you. Okay, so I'm hoping that that's focusing okay. Yeah, okay, so very gently, can you see how I've opened that towards me slightly? Okay, and then you take your next link and you just simply pop it on, and then again close the link against the pad of your finger, okay, so that you can feel when it's tightened and, you know, straight with the rest of the link. So that's your links. Okay, should we try a couple more? Perfect, it's a perfect chain for a beginner, is this. Not too taxing. And I make these when I'm watching the TV at night. So it's just mindless, and I find it quite therapeutic. Okay, so again, you're linked up, and we'll just do one more. So again, towards you. Okay, so you can see. And then pop your little link on, and then back together. Okay, so there you go. How lovely is that? And it's really, really simple to do from a beginner's point of view. Again, as you can see with this piece, I've made my own chain here and slightly larger links here to hang the dangly things off. So have fun with experimenting with the sizes. In the description box, actually, I will put a few of my measurements that I've worked out as a guide for you. So whilst you're sort of experimenting with this link, it'll give you a little bit of a guide, okay? So I'm just going to clear these away and then we'll have a look at how to make this link here, which again, really simple to make. And I think you'll like this one as well. Okay, so I'll see you in a couple. So this little circular link again is really versatile, because not only can you just use it for just a simple chain around the neck or around the wrist for a bracelet, you can also dangle charms off, which is what I'll be doing with this one. I'm going to be making some little charms, so make a little charm bracelet with these. Aren't they lovely? So these are really simple to make too. I also use them for my beaded earrings. Really, really effective. Actually, you can use them for all sorts of things. You could just have that on its own without the bead. Again, a really, really simple jewellery accessory that you can use for all sorts of different things. Okay, so I'll just move these out of the way and I'll give you some measurements, okay? Again, using the 1mm bare copper wire I'm using today. I'm going to need slightly larger lengths because we do have a little bit of wrapping to do here. So just smooth out your wire and flush cut the end. Okay, so for the links without the bead, you're going to need around 7 centimeters. Okay, which is just let's have a look, what is that? I'll put the inch equivalents down. Actually, it's just under 3 inches, I think. Okay, so 7 centimeters, give or take. Again, if you've watched my other videos, you'll know that I don't mind a little bit of waste. It just gives me more to play with. Okay, so here's your piece of wire. If you come in with your chain nose pliers, you want to be making a bend around possibly about just over 3/4 of the way down. So around here, okay? And bend it away from you. So you have that, okay? Again, this is where I use my 6th step. I use the largest step on the plier. And just like we're making a wire wrap loop, this is just a larger version. So this is what we have. Bend this top wire towards you. Okay, rotate your plier and then over the top so that we have this shape here. Okay, again, like before, we're just doing a wire wrap loop essentially. Bring in your 2nd chain nose. We want to be wrapping that around, okay, to make this wire wrap here, okay? So holding this across the whole loop, bend underneath. I do mine 3 times. So that's twice, I beg your pardon, and then once underneath, okay? So this is what we have. You bring in your flush cutters and just literally take off the excess on the back, and then just tidy this up at the back so that it's not catching on anything, particularly the skin. Okay, give it a bit of a burnish if you need to. Okay, so there we have it. The next thing we need to do is to make this smaller link here. Just excuse my fingers, actually, I'm a bit of a finger picker when I'm a bit stressed, and I've had a bit of a stressful week, so just ignore my hands. Okay, so I know, because I've experimented, that to make this smaller hoop, I use the very smallest step on my plier. And I also know that in order to do that, this stick here, this part here, has to be 1 centimetre long. So what I do generally is, if I'm making a long piece, I do it in like a conveyor belt. So I do, you know, all the shapes at the same time, and then go on to the next step and do all of those at the same time. So I measure 1 centimetre and then just snip off with the flat part of your flush cutter so that you have 1 centimetre. Okay. The next thing we want to do is to bend this part like so. Okay, so it's at a right angle. And then we want to be bending it back on itself with the smallest step. So that this guy is facing upwards, we grasp again so that you can't, or barely just feel the wire at the tip of the, you know, at the tip of the pliers here. And again, with this rolling motion of your wrist, bend it back so we have this neat little hoop in place. Okay, and there it is, there's your next link. Okay, so you can make as many of these as you like. Again, I do these in front of the TV, and then the next day I usually give them a bit of a hammer so that I'm not disturbing my family. Wake my kids up with all my hammering, or you can leave them. They're pretty sturdy on their own, but I like to give them a little bit of texture, as you can see here. You see that? Is the camera picking that up? Yeah. Okay, so in order to fix these together, link these together, it really is as simple as, again, not outwards, but upwards and downwards. Open your link, can you see that? And then you just simply pop your other link in place. Did you see that? And then close. How easy is that? Super, super simple. Perfect again for a beginner, and really, really effective, I think. I've got a huge crowd of them here that I made before, and I'm going to be making another necklace with charms with these, so they're super simple to make. Okay, so I hope you have fun making those. These ones here with the little beads on, which I think again are really effective, all you have to do is to make your length slightly longer. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So I'll just pick one of these little beads that I've been using. There we go. You can use any bead you like, really. Just make sure that you leave the length after you've done your wire wrap loop. Make this length as long as you need to have to accommodate your bead. Okay, so obviously if you're using a bead of this size, you're going to need a slightly longer length. Okay, so let's take our wire and we want approximately 8 centimetres, give or take. I mean, these are only, you know, brief measurements, they're not exact. Again, we go through the process. Instead of being right down here though, this part wants to be slightly longer to accommodate for the bead. So about here, I would say. Okay. Bend. Come in with the largest step. Bend it round. Rotate and over. Okay, so we have this. And then again, like we did before, wire wrap the loop. So that's under. and over, under, over and under. Okay, take off your excess and then just tidy the back up a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, we just have slightly longer stick, what I call the stick, this part here. Okay, so in order to make this link, all you do now is just bob your chosen bead on there. Okay, and again, just measure your 1 centimetre. If you're wanting to use the second part of your bell making plier, you just need to make it just slightly longer than 1 centimetre, so maybe 1.25 centimetres. Okay, to make a larger link here, I mean. Snip that off. Okay, so we bend this at a right angle now with the bead actually on the piece. So just be careful when you're doing this. So hold the bead with your chain nose and then very gently bend it away, okay, so that your bead is on. Okay, can you see that? Then come in with the small step on your plier, usual, and then bend it away from you. So as you can see now, we have a link with a bead attached. Okay, so have fun, go for it. I mean, like I say, you can use these for all sorts of things. Really, really simple to do. I hope you have fun making these, and I'll be back very, very soon with a whole load of new tutorials, mainly for the beginner, but then when we've covered basics, we'll go through a few more little bit harder things to do, just to stretch ourselves a little bit. Okay, so have fun making these and let me know how you get on in the comments. If there's anything you'd like to see me make for you, and give you a hand getting through how to make, you know, certain things. I'm by no means an expert, but I thought beginner videos are really, really handy, especially if they go a little bit slower and you can see what people are doing. Okay, so enjoy your new year and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.